I would hope that we might strive for an age of reverence for what gives us life, and for the fragile world in which we live.
He had to wait longer than anyone else to ascend to the British throne. His outspoken nature made him more of a divisive character than his mother, Queen Elizabeth II. But as he begins his time as king, one thing about him stands out above all else: his tireless energy for his work.
Having reported on Britain's new king, travelling the UK and the world with him, what I think we're going to see in him is someone that works incredibly hard, because that's what he's always done.
Charles was born on November 14, 1948, to then heir to the throne Princess Elizabeth and Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh.
To Princess Elizabeth, heiress presumptive to the throne, a son had been born. Glad news that was soon echoing round the world.
Charles was not invested as the Prince of Wales until 1969, but bestowed upon him at birth was a host of other titles.
In Scotland, he was known as the Duke of Rothesay, in Cornwall, the Duke of Cornwall, but his primary title was Prince of Wales. What it means is you are heir to the throne. But what Prince Charles did as Prince of Wales is completely redefine that title. He professionalized the title.
Many of Charles's predecessors treated the title of Prince of Wales as a ticket to a playboy lifestyle, notably the previous Prince of Wales, the short-reigned King Edward VIII. But Charles didn't want to wait until he became king to shape his legacy. Following his studies at Cambridge University, Charles went into the military. It was after leaving the Royal Navy in 1976 that he founded the Prince's Trust.
The Prince's Trust is something that he cares deeply about because he's done it for so long. It's one of his first causes, his first charities. But it also speaks to something he feels very strongly about, which is youth unemployment.
I hope today you've had some flavour of just what can be achieved by giving that little bit extra sense of self-esteem and self-confidence.
On top of his own charities, he is patron or president of over 400 more. They all focus on subjects close to his heart, including young people, the environment, and education. He juggled his charitable work alongside his official duties, namely representing the Queen.
There are two roles that any royal carries out: the constitutional role and the charitable role, where they express themselves more.
Even before ascending the throne, his schedule was notoriously intense. In a typical year, he would carry out more than 500 royal engagements, official duties coordinated from his London base at Clarence House.
So he's a perfectionist. He wants to know everything about all of his different projects and causes and roles.
For some, Charles will always be remembered for his marriage to Princess Diana. He first met Lady Diana Spencer in 1977. She was 17 at the time. They were married 4 years later.
And I'm amazed that she's been brave enough to take me on.
In 1982, William was born, and Harry in 1984. Cracks in the marriage were soon apparent, with both parties going to have extramarital relationships. Charles admitted to an affair with Camilla Parker Bowles, whom he went on to marry many years later in a quiet ceremony in 2005. Charles and Diana divorced in 1996, and Diana, alongside her lover Dodi Fayed, died the year after in Paris.
His priority was to look after the boys, and there's been a huge amount of criticism over the years of both the Queen and Prince Charles for the fact that they didn't come down to London and support the nation, but they very clearly made the decision to prioritise family over duties at that moment.
In that tumultuous time, Charles did what he had always done: put his head down and focus on his work. Before ascending to the throne, his campaign sometimes sailed dangerously close to the line dividing the monarchy and politics. The infamous Black Spider memos revealed his passionate pleas on issues he was concerned about, and gave him the nickname of the meddling prince.
The head of state, which is the monarch, they have a duty to remain independent. Prince Charles always took the view that he had more leeway before he was on the throne. But he always made it very clear that when he became monarch, he would no longer express opinions in that way.
Arguably, the cause he has championed most is the environment. He set up his home at Highgrove to become an organic farming powerhouse. He was talking about pollution issues long before they were mainstream, and he has become a leading figure in the fight against the climate crisis and plastic pollution.
Global warming, climate change, and the devastating loss of biodiversity are the greatest threats humanity has ever faced.
Charles is the oldest royal to be crowned king or queen, but much of his legacy has already been written.